Hey guys, Day here. Running Expedition Logbooks is a currency farming strategy unlike any other. It requires no atlas tree, no buying of specific sextants, no scarabs, no headhunter or mage blood, minimal setup, and can be played at your own pace, with great profits achievable for anyone. However, the approach to maximizing profits is nuanced, and without the right guidance, can be overwhelming. In this video, I'll share my loot from over 10 hours of farming, discuss why logbook running is so profitable, and simplify the details of my farming approach in one of the most fun and low maintenance currency farming strategies to date. Whether you end up trying this out or not, I hope you'll learn something new or find this video interesting. I bought over 100 item level 83 logbooks containing Black Scythe Mercenaries for 35 chaos each and ran them non-stop. After 10 hours of farming, I profited over 6,500 chaos, which is over 5 exalts per hour in profits. What's unique about this currency farming strategy is that almost 90% of my earnings were from currencies, and the earnings from exotic coinage drops alone more than paid for the cost of running the logbooks themselves. This is insane, as it means to truly profit from this strategy, selling items is trivial, as exotic coinage and other currencies are extremely liquid and sell instantly in bulk. On top of that, the profits calculated are conservative. I did not include essences, maps, low-value scarabs, divination cards, oils, catalysts, incubators, and more. Basically everything you see in this tab. Full details of my loot and profit calculations are in the spreadsheet in the description, as I won't bother going into all the details here. The key being most of the profits are from currencies, and that is entirely intentional. Here's a quick rundown of Expedition Logbooks if you're unfamiliar. Logbooks are dropped with up to 3 different expedition layouts present on the logbook. You can open up the logbook by giving it to Danig in your hideout and choose which expedition layout to enter. Each layout can be possessed by a different faction of enemies, such as Knights of the Sun or Black Scythe Mercenaries, which influence the kind of enemies present and, importantly, which valuable expedition vendor reroll currencies can drop. Once you select the layout and enter the logbook, you are introduced to a frankly overwhelming map filled with icons and a set of explosives to work with. The goal is to create a chain of explosions from the detonator to uncover as much valuable loot as possible. But knowing that logbooks are much different from the expeditions you encounter in maps, how do you do so efficiently? Well, breaking it down as simply as possible, here are my 3 priorities. Firstly, upon entering the map, you should immediately move the map around and take notice of the following 2 icons. This skull represents a boss, which drops many reroll currencies and can appear quite frequently around 1 in 5 logbooks. Secondly, this symbol represents a marked hidden area that can be opened upon exploding the entrance. These hidden areas contain many monsters and additional chests which can contain valuable loot. The rewards from the boss and the monsters within the hidden areas scale from the remnants you explode earlier in the chain of explosions. Therefore, you should plan your route of explosions to blow up the bosses or the underground areas toward the end of your chain to maximize the modifiers on them and therefore profit potential. Secondly, in Expedition Logbooks, currency chests are unbelievably powerful. The rate at which they drop exalted shards and raw exalted orbs is ridiculous, represented by my over 15 exalts across 103 logbooks. You can identify currency chests by the chaos symbol on the map, and the amount of drops within can be scaled upwards by quantity on the logbook and remnants, which can increase quantity of items in excavated chests. Given the high drop rate of valuable currencies within them, currency chests should be one of the priorities in pathing and a major focus when you are planning your route towards any potential bosses or underground areas. Thirdly, like I explained in my previous expedition video, valuable reroll currencies like exotic coinage drop only from runic monsters, which can be uncovered by blowing up runic monster markers, the big skulls on the sticks. In logbooks, the chances of dropping exotic coinage can be increased by quantity on the logbook and remnants, which increase quantity of items dropped by monsters, pack size, and their rare prefix runic monsters are duplicated. Therefore, you should prioritize these remnants early in your chain and focus on hitting as many runic monster markers as possible while pathing towards currency boxes and hidden areas or bosses. By being cognizant of these 3 priorities while running logbooks, you can set yourself up for success. Now, given the necessity of exploding chests and runic monsters, the size and number of your explosions is extremely important. The only way to influence this is by implicit modifiers on the logbook, as Atlas Tree passives do not affect logbooks. When any logbook drops, there is a permanent set of implicit modifiers that are associated with it. The implicit modifiers can significantly influence the profits of the logbook. For example, implicits that give you more or better explosives will let you blow up more chests and runic monsters. Implicits that give you more runic monster markers means more opportunities for good drops. If the implicit says area contains a boss, it's automatically worth a huge amount given the guarantee of a boss presence. If your logbook contains any modifier that affects explosives or runic monster markers, I recommend using blessed orbs on them to improve percentages for better loot. In my testing, I rolled all my maps with Alk Scours to at least 68% quantity for better rewards overall. Furthermore, logbooks are dropped with a permanent array of layouts, and some layouts are far better than others. For example, the mountainside layout is extremely large with horrible density, making it hard to explode a lot of valuable loot with your limited explosives. In contrast, Forest Ruins has amazing density and has lots of good options to move around the map. Therefore, when you open up a logbook and your desired faction is present on 2 different layouts, be sure to look at the implicits and the name of the layout and compare to see which one is the better option. I've linked in the description my personal tier list of both the expedition layouts and logbook modifiers for your review to help you make better decisions about logbooks. However, what I will say is that if you're like me and buy logbooks in bulk, the logbook implicits and map layouts don't matter too much because you will run them all anyway. RNG is RNG, and over the long term, assuming you run a little bit of everything, it won't matter too much. If you're trying this out for the first time, it may be a good idea to try to buy a logbook with a nice layout and good modifiers so you are more likely to get good returns. So after you enter the logbook site of your choice and begin the encounter, what do? Some people when running logbooks will run around the whole map reading every remnant before setting down explosions. When you are first trying out logbooks, this can be an important learning experience, but I personally feel like it's a waste of time because the far and very distant remnants often make very little difference in the overall profits if you have limited explosives and can't path to everything. Here's my personal approach to do things quickly and efficiently. Firstly, if I see a boss or underground areas, I register in my mind that at some point I will need to path towards them, ideally towards the end of my route. Secondly, if I see a bunch of currency chests clustered in the same area, I register in my mind that I would really like to go in that direction. Then I do a quick scan of the nearby area looking at the remnants. If I see one nearby that offers increases in quantity or improved valuable drops like the good ones listed in my tier list, I will path towards it with my first few explosions and then start my chain of explosions to get good loot from there. If I don't see any good remnants nearby, I continue searching in the general direction of a currency chest or a hidden area and will start my chain as soon as I see something good. If there are no good nearby remnants, I don't bother running all the way to the edges of the map to check remnants because they are rarely worth it. I simply just start laying explosives towards valuable chests and runic monsters and other unknown remnants, not dwelling too much if I can't find a good remnant immediately. Generally speaking, you should avoid exploding remnants that don't give valuable bonuses because it just makes your map harder. The exception is when an expedition boss is present in your map. Expedition bosses drop more loot per remnant affecting them, so it's worthwhile to hit as many remnants as possible. However, be sure to read the modifiers and make sure you aren't making your map unbeatable. You never want to be in a situation like me here where I have a million modifiers and fight for my life with every white mob. In the end, by continuing to strive towards the 3 priorities I discussed earlier, bosses in hidden areas, currency boxes, and runic monsters, you cannot go wrong. Your first few logbooks will probably be slow, but after some time, it gets much easier and basically automatic. It took me around 8 minutes and a lot of brain power my first few logbooks, but I quickly got used to it, and now I finish them in 5 minutes and can plan out a route automatically the second I enter the logbook. Some logbooks can be unrewarding due to RNG, but over the long term, the profits are undeniable. To maximize profits, there are a few important things to consider. Firstly, in logbooks, there are hidden areas that are marked on the map, and there are hidden areas not marked on the map. These are usually explodable walls, which contain chests inside. Keep an eye on your map for these, such as the ones in the Rotting Temple, as you can see here on screen. Furthermore, in some hidden area encounters, you can move to the end and see a sarcophagus. Be sure to click on these and kill all the monsters that emerge for a reward at the end. Additionally, as I said before, be sure to avoid taking remnants that make the map too difficult. For example, some remnants make monsters immune to certain types of damage. Some remnants make them ignore a percentage of damage entirely or add insane amounts of block chance. I personally try to avoid mods that make monsters too tanky because I want to kill them in a reasonable amount of time. There is also the concept of beast splitting, which is important to know. You can purchase the Fenimal-plagued Arachnid Beast, which allows you to split an item into two in the menagerie while keeping all the implicit modifiers of the item the same. This essentially allows you to turn one logbook into two of the same logbook. For example, I have a logbook with a boss present, making it very valuable and worth over 100 chaos. So I use the Beastcraft, valued at less than 40 chaos at the moment, to generate an extra logbook for incredible value. If you are running Knights of the Sun logbooks, which are over 70 chaos at the moment, it's good practice to always use beast splitting to generate cheaper logbooks. Furthermore, if you have a Black Scythe logbook with really good implicit rolls, it is likely worth it to beast split that too. Now you'll notice throughout my video I completely ignore artifacts. When Expedition was released, you could sell these artifacts for profit, which is why some older guides on Expedition focus on them a lot more. Nowadays, they are stuck in your account unless you use them. Consuming artifacts by buying items from Expedition vendors and using reroll currencies will earn you a profit on average. And from my testing with Tujin, a very significant profit overall, giving you much more value out of every single logbook. The idea of earning a big profit just by sitting in your hideout and interacting with a vendor menu is certainly enticing. However, I personally don't find it fun and think it's not worth the time and strain on my hands. Most of the time, I prefer just selling the reroll currencies for immediate returns and use my time to keep on playing. But I know friends who do nothing but logbooks and ride or die by using artifacts. I recommend you try it out, and if you like it, you can focus more on getting artifact modifiers on the logbook and remnants because it will definitely mean getting more value out of each logbook. In summary, logbook farming is an incredibly consistent, fun, and rewarding mechanic dependent on your skill and knowledge, with everything you need here in this video. 5 exalts per hour profit is unmatched when you consider the minuscule amount of effort required to set up, to sell, and the general accessibility of this strategy. There are some currency farming strategies that can theoretically earn comparable or more profit per hour, including my own videos, but they may require you to buy lots of specific sextants, scarabs, reset the atlas tree, sell tons of diverse items, or need high-end gear like a headhunter. To set up this strategy, you just buy logbooks instantly on the TFT Discord or individually on the trade site, run the logbooks without making them too hard, and sell the currencies instantly when you're done. Most importantly, it's a ton of fun, especially given the variety of gameplay. Now, if everything I said in this video went in one ear and out the other, don't sweat it. It's not easy to understand this mechanic in one go without trying it yourself. Note that this video covers my personal approach, and because Expedition is quite flexible, others may have their own opinions, and I'd love to hear them in the comments below. In any case, I really hope you enjoyed the video or learned something new. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll try my best to lend a helping hand. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.